to the first best of 3 of today's After Hour Gaming League's tournament. We are going to be watching a game played between Amazon Prime and Amazon Hamazon. Both of them are from Amazon. Both of them, they're going to be duking it out to see who the A team is and who the B team is. Not really, but like that's kind of our little game that me and my co-caster are playing. You know, I'm taking over the stream. That's not even my stream right now. This is actually, can I call you Chronicle War?
Yeah, go for it.
No, sorry, Chronic War. Chronic War. Alright, so that's what I'm going to be calling you.
The man who is co-opting the stream, of course, is Desi Fresh, for those of you who do not know.
No, okay, it's Desi Fresh Meta. And Ben's going down really quickly.
Yeah, clearly both sides doing their scouting here, but before we get into this pick ban, because there's definitely a lot to talk about here just glancing at this, I want to just take an extra second here to introduce our teams. Of course, on the blue side, it's going to be Amazon Prime, and on the red side, it will be Amazon Hamazon, and both of them are going to be playing for Child's Play. Child's Play is a charity that brings children in hospitals and domestic abuse centers the joy of gaming to help them try and reconnect with their inner kid again, get them right back in the proper mentality for a kid their age, and actually be able to enjoy their time again and not just, you know, get stuck in that mentality that you can fall into when you're trapped in the hospital for a long period of time. So fantastic charity. Both teams, of course, from Amazon, as Desi mentioned. So without further ado, let's hop right into this pick phase. And again, you were mentioning the Anivia ban straight out, no hesitation.
Actually, that's what I just want to say something. Like both of these teams are from Amazon. One of them is going to win. One of them is going to lose. But Child's Play is going to win.
That's
because,
right.
Yeah, the winner of this match goes on to play in the finals, and I believe there actually is a second place prize for winning. So no matter what happens, Child's Play is winning. Child's Play is winning.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's, you know, one of the my personal favorite charities in this tournament. So I'm very glad to see them here represented, not just by one, but by 2 semifinal teams here to actually lock them into that reward, like you're saying. It's so fantastic for them.
Well, I think there was a total of 9 Amazon teams in this entire tournament, and I think they're all playing for Child's Play. So I think they have a pretty good chance of getting something.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Amazon team certainly, I mean, obviously demonstrated by how we have 2 of them here in the semifinals, aren't anything to mess with. So yeah. But Child's Play, by locking up all those Amazon teams, they did something right.
All right, so yeah, that is enough about these. That's enough about Child's Play. Even though it's a great charity, we got to get into these picks and bans. And yeah, you know, I did say that the Anivia, Vi, Sins, Hecarim, Jinx, and Gnar are all taken away in the order that they're taken away, and that's honestly the only bans that aren't highly specific are the ones from Hamazon, the Vi, Hecarim, and Gnar. Those are champions that we're seeing a lot of play from in both the ladder and competitive. So I think that Hamazon may not have done as much research on their opponents, that or their opponents are just playing what's most played in the meta right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know, you know, Dio has been showing really strong on that Vi. So as you say, you know, of course it's just a very strong pick in the meta right now, but actually trying to target ban that away right off the bat here to place him on the Rengar. I'm not sure how effective it is because his champion pool is quite deep, and that Rengar is certainly something that he's shown up on in the past. So putting him on that Rengar is a bit of a risky play here. Banning away that Vi might have been better just to leave that open and try and maybe bang out some more strong champions in the meta. Of course, we see LeBlanc was locked in as well for the mid lane here.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty big mid-game. Well, it's actually going to be this actually looks like a poke composition for Amazon Prime. They'll have the Thresh, Lulu, and the Rengar, LeBlanc, and Ghost. So much single target damage on that team. Their team fighting, it's not the worst, but they definitely have their work cut out for them against the composition of Hamazon. They'll have the Sivir, combo that up with the Mundo and Sejuani. You have a massive front line with just those 2. And then when you have the Cho'Gath in the mid lane, he's not going to be building full tank He'll be getting a couple of AP items, but it's still going to be really difficult to get through with all of the help that he's going to be getting from his ultimate. And it's really going to rely a lot on Callista to do all the damage to Cho'Gath. LeBlanc can burst him down to probably half health later on if he has a couple of stacks with his ultimate. But past that, it's really going to be all in Callista to start whittling him down.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking at on the red side as well for another moment, you were talking about how Sivir is going to be largely the damage for that team. I think it's very, knowing that this is sort of the composition they had in mind to go for. Of course, Cho'Gath's true damage is always to be respected here, but as far as just consistent damage, it looks like Sivir is their main source. So picking a champion with that spell shield to try and deal with the assassination potential if a LeBlanc or some other assassin was picked up again. Of course, we already saw the Rengar locked in. I think it's a much safer pick there, and it's going to make it a lot more reliable team fight for their presence on the red side here. And we haven't even touched on yet Iron Sheep with the Sejuani. Oh my god, Iron Sheep has been killer on the Sejuani in these previous games. So to see that locked in for that side, oh, we're expecting big things out of that jungle.
And not even that. The thing with the Sejuani is I believe that was picked first, the Sejuani. So I don't completely agree with picking the Rengar into that kind of a pick. Even if it is a Sejuani, the amount of pressure that she'll be able to provide compared to you is going to force effectively all of your lanes to play a little bit back just to prevent themselves from dying to a gank or even some aggression, because they can't. Nowadays he's just gonna farm up until level 6, and that's when he gets his ultimate. That's when he's gonna start ganking. Before 6, Rengar really has no sort of pressure in a gank. He can get that bola, but that's easily sidestepped. And he's really gonna need that level 6. Meanwhile, Iron Sheep, he can gank past level 3. He can get in lanes and provide the CC, and he does have quite a bit of damage as well. He can provide all of that for the team in his early ganks. And when you look at the lanes that he can gank for, the Sivir and Bard, there's a lockdown from the Bard right there. Then you have the Mundo, who's just going to be throwing cleavers over and over again to lock down whoever his lane opponent is, which is actually going to be the Lulu this time. A little bit difficult to gank because of the Whimsy and Polymorph, but he's not. Well, that's actually the same spell. It's the Whimsy and the Speed Boost. I forgot the name. It's passing me right now. It's going to be difficult to lock him down, but it's still a gank that he can attempt. And then that mid lane, I Love Llamas, he's going to be maxing his distortion just for a poke and clear. And once that spell is down, that's just going to be Leech throwing down the Rupture, and Iron Sheep will follow it up right there. And I like the fact that I Love Llamas actually took the cleanse, because he's respecting the lockdown from the Cho'Gath and maybe even the Sejuani right here.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been seeing cleanse coming into favorability again a lot in this past month. It used to be one of those summoner spells that you didn't really see unless if there was like a Warwick or something in the game, but now we're seeing that come out a lot in the mid lane for these more assassin-y champs, because with a lot of the CC that's coming out in the tank meta, you just have to get out. If you're caught out, you need some sort of escape button, and that's what that cleanse is for, absolutely. So we'll see if that does affect the amount of pressure that this LeBlanc can bring in the lane, though. Without that ignite, it might be a little bit more difficult to get rolling and start snowballing that champion into that mid-game damage threat potential. But of course, we do want to highlight again, we glossed over a little bit this Bard pickup. I mean, the Bard, when we talk about Feast or Famine champions like LeBlanc, Bard is very much a skill equivalent of that. To see this Bard picked up without really too much hesitation at all, I mean, a possible pocket pick here coming out, and if you can really make use of that Bard, if you can actually get those stuns off with that Q, I mean, the potential Bard has is almost limitless in this game.
Yeah.
So if we can actually see somebody who can demonstrate a strong proficiency with that champion, that could actually draw some bans in a game too, if they go, very strong performance-wise on this game.
Yeah, definitely. And I remember 2 weeks ago, Microsoft One was playing against Facebook, and Silent J brought out the Bard, I believe in the second game, after his Nami was taken away in the first game. the plays that he made on the champion really showed how proficient he was on it. And wow, man, the game just dropped me in at the 1 minute mark. Yeah, I was not like I wasn't in game. I was at the 1 minute mark. That's when I actually just decided to show us in game. So
well, we do have. It looks like there's going to be a lane swap here coming out from the blue side. We have that Callista and Thresh sitting in the top bush here. They haven't revealed themselves yet. Mundo is just hanging out in the tri-brush on the top side. So it looks like they are going to be successfully getting that.
Yeah. And the thing is, I actually like that because it's the Lulu versus Mundo matchup. It's a skill matchup because both of them have opportunities to win the lane, but when you lane swap, it puts Mundo in a really dangerous spot because it's gonna be so difficult for him to keep himself sustained up against the Callista and Thresh, and he's gonna have a difficult time farming up because he's gonna have to use his health for the cleavers to do that. Lulu, she's gonna have a fine time in the 2v1, and right there, an immediate level 1 aggression coming out from the Callista Mundo, forcing him away for the time being, denying him experience, denying him gold. Meanwhile, Crapon in the bottom lane, he's just gonna be able to walk away. He does take a bit of a harass.
A lot of damage.
Yeah, that was probably not the best played from him right there. He could have just waited for the minions to hit the tower, and he should have been able to farm up fairly easily.
Yeah, you know, I was actually expecting this Lulu to probably do a little bit more of a double jungle momentarily, at least through the red buff with Rengar here to allow that Sever to shove those minions into a safer farming position at turret, but it looks like she actually opted for a bit more of a greedy play there, stepping a little bit more far forward in lane to get those first few minions and try and press an advantage over this Mundo.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of looking to see if AHGL and Tosh actually start a freeze in the top lane. It does put Mundo in a really bad spot because he really has no way of breaking that freeze. Tosh can just stand in front and take cleaver after cleaver, and he won't really have to worry too much about his health bar because with the relic shield, he'll just be able to stand himself back up.
Yeah, absolutely, and of course, with that Callista locking with that passive as well, Mundo ever steps forward, they can get a lot of damage on him just by toggling those autos between the two of them. So definitely a risky lane for Mundo, especially as we see that Rengar now in the tri-brush on the top side. Has a little bit of actions going down in the mid lane as well, but
yeah, not too much, just some extra aggression, and it's really a bad matchup for the LeBlanc, but it looks as though we're gonna see a dive in the top lane.
Yeah, and that's Thresh getting the aggro of the turret initially, and he will be able to get out with his life. Great play there, tanking that for the rest of his team, and that will be first blood onto this Callista. And I mean, wow, what a person to get rolling in this game. If you get that first blood onto Callista in a lane swap, more or less, this is going to be quite a problem for the red side.
Yeah, the aggro was switched so perfectly right there. Initially onto the Thresh, Rengar took a couple of hits for himself right there, but really nicely played by Amazon Prime, really showing us why they were in the finals last year and why they deserve to be in the finals this year. And in that bottom lane, you did see a bit of aggression onto Crap Pile. With the Sejuani, Iron Sheep is taking, he actually just took the Krugs. Maybe a bit of dive coming out from Amazon to give Prime a taste of their own medicine right now. Bard is on his way there. Pings did spot out Iron Sheep, so Krapau may be playing a little bit safer for now.
Yeah, and especially since Lulu did use that teleport to get back into lane, gonna play it very safe here. Doesn't want to die immediately after using that teleport, and then have to spend so much time here as we see, of course, the Sentinels being sent out in the top lane as well for that extra vision. Just trying to prevent any counter ganks here now that Iron Sheep has gone missing. They're trying to play it a little bit safer here, make sure Iron Sheep doesn't show up in any lanes they're not expecting. The ward coverage does look pretty good so far for this blue side, so we see a lot of vision littered throughout the map, especially with those scouting Sentinels here.
Yeah, and right now, as we start getting a little bit later into this laning phase. It's only been 6 minutes, so it's not too late. But CS leads really haven't shown themselves just yet. Both of these teams are fairly even. Cropile actually falling a little bit behind Yatala right now, mainly because it's a more poke heavy lane that he has to deal with. I mean, he did. I'm assuming his team asked him if he was okay with it, if he can deal with it. And I'm gonna assume he was, but again, he's gonna provide a lot more utility for his team, and this is actually really smart by Amazon right now. They know that they have the duo in the bottom lane, so they're gonna be able to take a really easy first dragon for themselves. Nothing that Amazon Prime can do. They should have expected this, knowing that they lane swap. So it's kind of expected that the team that initiated lane swap loses first dragon. The real matter is, what do they do to get the next one? And oh my god, Leech. That's gonna be a kill, maybe. There it is.
They're gonna force the flash as well, but they will flash in reply to get that picked up here. So you see Lulu being a pest in the bottom lane, clearing out those health charges. But yeah, that's another kill going over to the blue side right now. And again, when we talk about who these kills are landing onto, LeBlanc, I mean, that's another person you don't want to risk getting too far ahead. And wow, so low.
Yeah.
Taking that turret shot, getting a little aggressive there.
Yeah, I gotta get that. And meanwhile,
yeah, Mundo hooked up. Yeah, Mundo hooked up in this top lane here. He's going to be able to walk out just fine. Has those health pops coming in. Now with that 6 available, it's going to be hard to actually get a kill on here, even if he does get quite low.
Yeah, the Flay actually didn't catch the Mundo out. Otherwise, that could have been him being forced away for the time being. He is level 6 now, so he can actually stay in lane for a bit longer, as long as he stays pretty safely and continues farming with Cleaver. His tower, though, may end up going down very shortly.
Yeah, looks like it's gonna go down right here.
Yeah, there it is. That's just gonna be a nice influx of gold into Amazon Prime's pocket. Now it's their job to kind of snowball this into their favor. Ooh, there's the back stop by itself. Throw a briefcase. Get back to work.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, that's part of the reasons we were talking about Mundo now being level 6, being harder, well, level 7, having his 6 available. So hard to kill now. Just gonna try and shove those minions to that turret, take that turret, get that global gold secured for their team, send Lulu back up there. Not really worry about trying to get any kills in the top lane. Try and rotate back down bottom to prevent losing their turret in reply here in the bottom lane. It looks like they should be able to get there as the Sivir goes back, so there's not going to be any turret pressure here in the bottom lane, though they will be missing out on quite a bit of CS as those minions crash into the turret on the bot side.
So now, even though the Kalista is down in CS compared to Argonaut Jason, the Sivir, he has the kill, and with the tower that he took in the top lane, he's actually up about 300 gold. And
unfortunately, by the way, just in that transfer there, yeah, Rengar was actually getting that blue buff as the burn from the red buff secured it away from LeBlanc. So that actually might play a key role here in these mid-game team fights. If that LeBlanc doesn't have her mana available to her,
yeah,
a lot of that burst potential is not going to be available. Even if just she does have the mana, not having that additional cooldown reduction is going to really lower her output potential in any of these mid-game team fights here, should they break out.
Yeah, definitely. And, ooh. Nope, no aggression right there. It looks as though they were about to go in. But as I was saying before, the Kalista actually looking for the Bloodthirster as her first item. So, really going to be having a big mid-game impact with that. And it's actually, with the Bloodthirster, it's actually pretty... it's safer to take towers with. Because Kalista, she already does have a fairly low attack range. I can only get that on the screen. For some reason it won't work. So that's okay. I think it's like 500 or 525. Something like that. But yeah, with the Bloodthirster, she can actually get the shield up, get a couple attacks onto the tower, and just back away with her passive. And that kind of line of play keeps her fairly safe against any unwanted aggression or an engage from enemy team.
There's the engagement in bottom lane. The ultimate from Bard gonna lock down only the Thresh though, so Sejuani not actually gonna be able to get much done. Thresh actually trying to play that Sivir into the turret. Actually doesn't manage to. A couple turret shots coming out here. Sivir does go down. And that's gonna be the teleport coming in, so probably not gonna be much more with that Mundo. Actually, the teleport is canceled, and all of a sudden, Rengar in this lane as well. That's gonna be 3 members going down. Oh my god, I can't believe. Beautiful interruption there. I believe that was an interruption from Lulu in the top lane.
No, it wasn't.
Canceled?
Yeah, he just canceled it. Crowpile still has his wild growth available. That wasn't even a cancellation. Yattel just effectively left his team out to die. Granted, he may have died himself because Diodiesel and Isle of Llamas were on their way to back their team up. But when you look at it, it might have been a better call to just teleport in and help them out. You still had the Sejuani and Bard up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, certainly when there's a LeBlanc and Rengar running into the lane as well, you feel like canceling that teleport from time to time. But that, you know, that is the possibility of having this Mundo pickup. You know, you should be able to teleport into there, just turn your 6 on immediately, and just body block as your team runs to turret, unfortunately. And
now that it's down, and since he really has no way of stopping a teleport if it came out from Crapile, even if he was right in front of him, what Amazon Prime should be doing now is pressuring the dragon, knowing that Yattel has to make his way down there right now if they want to fight the 5v5. Because Crapile can just teleport there and effectively force the 4v4 into the 4v5 into Amazon Prime's favor, and Yattel will be forced to choose between either taking the tower or making that long walk to the dragon pit and hope the team fight doesn't end. Or doesn't start.
Speaking of the Dragon Pit right now, there are a whole bunch of members grouping up around there. That's Bard actually landing the lockdown chain with the Cho'Gath. That's going to be a very low Rengar. He will flash away though, so Cho not going to be able to get him with that ultimate. But we saw the Feast attempt to be thrown out there. But speaking of being thrown out, Thresh thrown into the middle of things. Bard does land an ultimate and then a stun onto 2 players. Wow, this Bard, I don't think I've seen him miss a stun all game so far. Now Thresh is on the retreat here, so low. Mundo actually going to proc the passive of LeBlanc and going to be forced back away again. He is caught up, but there's the briefcase going to take out Thresh. Ballista soon to follow afterwards, and all of a sudden the magical journey going to bring these players back into lane here, or into range I should say. Now it looks like they might second guess going to this dragon. They do have a Mundo.
Yeah. And the thing is, Amazon Prime, they need to have realized by now that they do not have a team. Oh man, the fight's going on!
Yeah, LeBlanc diving right in. The spell shield gonna keep Sivir nice and healthy though, so Mundo, only one taken low, and Mundo, you know, not gonna be the one you want to have low here. Iron Sheep's taken quite low as well. A very lucky team fight that both of them didn't get the last bit of damage. But I mean, very unfortunate for them. That's going to be an extended ace for this red side here and the dragon. So all of a sudden, that scoreline even right up with 2 dragons in favor. Only a few hundred gold in the lead of the blue side right now. Definitely not the way this blue side wanted that dragon fight to go.
And the thing is, Amazon Prime, they need to have realized by now that they cannot win in a full-out team fight, even being 5 kills up. The gold lead is still going to be so small at this point that it's negligible. And deciding to fight against a team who's centered around team fighting was just a death sentence for them. And no pun intended, but they really needed to have just stopped fighting when they forced away Amazon at the point. They forced them away. They probably couldn't have taken the dragon, but they'd have gone back and reset themselves, put themselves back at full health, put themselves back up at full mana, and then gone again. Pick someone out. The LeBlanc ultimate would have been back up. The Rengar ultimate should have been back up. They had so many opportunities.
Yeah, and that bottom lane, you know, we've seen multiple times here that Sivir and Bard.
Oh man,
huge proficiency, but getting the jump from that bush actually going to be taken out. That's the 3-man ultimate from Sejuani, and Thresh going to be going down as well. Bard does fall in the meantime. Actually, no, Bard going to die in the magical journey. So close to making it out there, but down goes LeBlanc as well. The heal being popped from the Sivir. There's the rend built up, and that's going to be the kill, though. Kalista will go down to the turret as well. Overall, a 4 for 3 again in favor of this red side. Man,
yeah.
these are some bloody team fights breaking out.
Like I feel as though it's just they're getting desperate right now. They're trying to put so much gold onto this Kalista to ramp up and deal with the mid-game deficit that they're going to be having at this point, with 5 kills onto this Sivir, 2 on the Mundo, not really a lot across anyone else. It's real like it's going to be so. The team fights are going to rely so heavily on the initial engage from Iron Sheep, and even in that last fight, we saw a great Glacial Prison come out from him, locking up 3 members, allowing them to effectively win the fight. If that didn't connect, if Amazon Prime played that a little bit smarter, if they didn't group all together when they tried to burst down the Sejuani, they may have won, because they got a pick out, but they just didn't have the damage at the time to get the kill immediately, and that's where they made the mistake. They didn't have enough damage, and they should have realized that.
Yeah, absolutely, and it seems like they're not trying to shy away from team fights at all, because we see that recursive bow being picked up for Kalista, so she's going to look to transition into more of a team fight item. You know, that's the big decision point for Kalista players, is when you go for that item over prioritizing damage, because your damage does start to fall off a little bit, but with the 6 kills, I mean, she certainly has the gold to spare, so trying to get an item that will be enabling the rest of her team in those team fights a little bit more, getting those rank stacks off on multiple members, will increase their potential quite a bit. And if they're going to look to continue the team fight, I mean, that's certainly the way you want to go. But like you're saying, I really think if they hold off and try and wait for a later game position here, they might be in a better situation overall. Just try and avoid some team fights because of that team fight potential of all the AoE that is brought out on this red side here.
Yeah, and right now, that's going to be a bit of damage going down onto that Bard. Yeah, look, not too much damage going to be traded. They had to fear the fact that everyone else was there. And, oh man, AHGL. Did Sejuani actually threw out the ultimate? I'm pretty sure that would have been a dead Kalista right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Having to do some very tenuous Kalista micro around that Cho'Gath Q as well. Very good mechanical play there, showing that she's able to dance around those skill shots when needed. But gotta play it safe, because if this Kalista goes down, that's going to be, I mean...
Well, they're going down!
As we see right there! Exactly. I mean, now that the Kalista is down, that is all of the kills almost on this blue side gone. So any team fights are going to absolutely not be in their favor. And we see Cho'Gath trying to head off this Lulu. He will spot her out, and the Q does force her back. She will get silenced. There's the Ignite thrown down as well. That Lulu shield with the ultimate is going to be a lot of damage going on to Rengar, though. Rengar 1v1 essentially by that Sivir. And beautiful Dark Passage there from the Thresh to secure that Lulu away. But that is the Rengar going down as well.
Even though the Flash wasn't really used for anything, he got his team to kill with the silence. And even though they didn't get the Lulu, they got the kill onto Diesel. And since he's the jungler, Dragon's going to be up in about 30 seconds. They can apply pressure around the area, get control of the area in terms of vision, and they'll effectively be able to get the 3rd dragon for themselves, and it's just going to help them engage in these fights. They'll have the move speed boost coming out from On the Hunt from Sivir, but now it's just going to be even increased with the 3rd dragon buff. It's going to be really difficult for Amazon Prime to come back from this, and as it is, they really aren't playing like a cohesive team. They're just getting caught. They're getting caught out left and right. AHGL, you need to play a little bit safer right now, especially since you have all of the kills on your team. 6 kills. There's 1 kill onto I Love Llamas, 1 kill onto Tosh, but if you're your entire team's gold, you cannot play that dangerously.
Yeah, absolutely. We see the teleport coming out here. Actually canceled by the Lulu. So now all of a sudden that teleport not going to be available, and there's the Bard ultimate going to catch out Tosh. No, going to be ultimate away by the Kalista save.
Wait, I didn't know you could use Fate's Call when he was locked down. by Tempered Fate. What?
Yeah, actually blowing both the minds of both the casters here. So, talking about the mechanical play from the card side, I mean, there's some good counter mechanical play here from the Callista, knowing that that's available. I didn't even know that was available either.
Callista #1 Bard counter.
Yeah, definitely. But that is going to be the third dragon going down. Of course, uncontestable as that Lulu teleport was no longer available. So
yeah,
that will be that critical third dragon with the move speed, like you were saying. With that, I mean, that's just going to enable them even further in these team fights. And it looks like a bit more precaution played through the blue side here in choosing not to engage that team fight as much as they could. Disengaging right as hard as possible.
And right now, 21 minutes into this game, and Amazon really putting up a fight for Amazon Prime. Some nice items getting finished up on both sides. Merlin Namicons on both of those AP champions, and Mundo just in that top lane still. He doesn't even need to force away anyone from that lane because the rest of his team will do that work for him. And oh, crap pile.
The crits coming out from that Sivir.
And another tower going over to Amazon, still keeping the lead in their favor, just continuing to further it even more. And I'm actually surprised at the Ravenous Hydra getting finished up by Dow Diesel, because his team needs some sort of front line. They have no front line in the age of tanks. Going for the Tiamat, it's not terrible. I see a lot of Rengars do it, but I think a lot of people keep it at the Tiamat and then go the tank. They don't finish the Hydra. They keep it at the Tiamat. The Randuins.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, when you, I mean, I'm certainly no stranger to the damage Rengar build myself here, but actually, hold that thought, because we see everybody going in here. LeBlanc going deep, trying to get a lot of damage in. So that's also again from Sivir, doing a lot of work as Rengar is going golden here from that Bard ultimate. Thresh goes down, so 1 kill already. And they're going to be turret diving this one out. The Magical Journey going to bring Bard in range, and that's Ballista going down. Rengar going down on the back foot as well as the inner turret goes down in the top lane here for nothing. A dominant team fight there from the red side here as they're looking to get the inhibitor in top lane as well.
And Amazon Prime, they're just not playing to the enemy's team composition. They're not playing to their own composition. This is looking so bleak. 23.5 minutes into this game. Amazon open up Amazon Prime's base in that top inhibitor, and they're actually going to get a cash out onto Leech. Can they get this kill though?
Yeah, it's a lot of damage coming out onto him, but that is the tanky Cho'Gath at this stage in the game with that Rod of Ages completed, and gonna opt to not follow the Magical Journey there. Probably the right decision.
Yeah.
Would have taken them into 4 members, so they're gonna make it out alive here. Gonna possibly throw down some wards here in the Baron Pit area just to make sure there's no sneaky comeback Baron.
So yeah, that's really one of the things that Amazon Prime need to do if they want to come back into this game, is get a desperate Baron off. If they can manage that, they can push some towers, bring the gold lead close enough to the point where it's even, maybe even their favor. That would be a bit of a stretch though. They only have 2 inner towers to take down. 3 inner towers to take down. They don't have the mid lane inner tower just yet. But
the point you were mentioning,
that's really one of their only hopes. And Amazon, they seem to know that that's going to be the case because they're making their way to that position right now. Dio Diesel is in that bottom lane though, near the Dragon Pit.
Yeah, absolutely. Diesel trying to get some more coverage. I mean, you see the wards littered throughout the Dragon Pit area. They do know that those 3 dragons being up, threatening a 4th dragon could put them on the bubble here as well. But you've got to put that effort into the the Baron Pit as well, because we see right now absolutely no vision on this Baron Pit area. There are some sentinels behind, but no way to know that that Baron is going down right now. And that will be an uncontested Baron going over the
Man, that is just really disappointing.
The Shrine Orb coming out afterwards, unfortunately there.
Oh man, there's the Tempered Fate.
Yeah, the Bar Ultimate actually gonna miss there, but it's not gonna matter because that Callista too many members of the red side there. You can only dash away so much here.
If only the Callista ultimate worked, not cooperatively, I guess the other way as well. You can you
hold yourself to the thresh.
Yeah, exactly. Best escape ever. Well, oh man, Tansy getting caught out. That's the game.
Yeah, we see the final battle here coming out of the desperation to try and defend their base, but that's gonna be, I mean, 2 going down for nothing here. I mean, at this point, you really have to throw all in and try and hope you can get some sort of miracle engage there. You're not gonna ask for too much of a strong engage there.
This might just be
absolutely.
Game. There's 3 members down, and only the Kalista, Rengar, and Lulu are up. There's no one there to be some sort of tank. There's no one there to burst it down, and AHGL getting caught out again.
Kalista trying to put in work here on Iron Chief, who's going to be able to walk away from her, and Rengar with all that damage built still isn't able to take anyone down. And that's going to be the last Nexus turret falling here as Kalista again taking out all these baroned up minions. It looks like they're going to try and play it safe here and disengage. But that's Leaf getting caught out by the chains here. He will go down, I believe. The last little bit of health, he will go down to Thresh with that overpowered auto attack at the end here. As we see, actually, Lulu going to try and teleport some more.
Yeah, she's going for the flank. Oh. I don't think she can catch up to this one, though.
Yeah, it looks like that teleport's actually not going to be creating any further engagement here. As
They will get their first dragon, though, off of this. But at this point, Amazon Prime, this is a best of 3, so they just need to talk about what happened and what they should do for Game 2, because there's very little hope for them making a comeback in this game. All Amazon really need to do is just walk down the mid lane and win. There's nothing to defend this Nexus, and with the lockdown that they have from both the Bard and the Sejuani, they can effectively throw their ultimates down and ignore everyone else.
Yeah, playing it safe here, getting that 4th dragon as well, just to make sure all their bases are covered here. I mean, that's you got to look at it when speaking about what went wrong and what to change here. We see Rengar is looking at his build. He hasn't even built the enchantment on his jungle item here. Perhaps trying to save that so he can add Juggernaut later on and focus damage initially. But the Rengar pick just didn't work out. The damage Rengar not showing up here in this game, and it's gonna possibly be something that is not going to be available to this Amazon team here in the following games. Because I mean, this,
that and like
with how far that showed up.
Yeah, and it's that and the fact that it didn't really play to their composition. There's the engage. They're going in, but can they get this fight?
Yeah, Cho'Gath's the one in the front line. He's so tanky at this point in the game. I'm not sure he's going to be able to go down there. That's a lot of damage coming out. 2 members already down as the battle goes around the inhibitor. Lulu's going to be going down as well. And everyone getting massacred in base, and that is the final ace as this game will be going over to the red side. And wow, what a dominant first game here. They did have a bit of a initial lead in the early game, but the red side absolutely coming back and just dominating with those team fights throughout the game. Absolute devastation here. Very impressive.
Yes. So that's going to be game 1 going over to Amazon. Let's bring it over to game 3. I said game 2, didn't I? It's actually game 1.
Yeah,
I did say
game 1 going to Amazon here.
Yeah.
We will be getting into game 2 here momentarily, and I just want to, I'm glancing over the damage charts here. Kalista over 15k damage. She definitely was putting out a lot of damage that game. So despite how one-sided this game did go, that Kalista will probably pull a lot of respect and attention into game 2 here, and we might see some Kalista bans or first pick away coming out in this following game here. But without further ado, I mean, let's hop right into it here.